FM1 FM.
Yes, I. Blessed greetings in the name of the Most High, His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie I. I'm there right now. We're there right now in Shashamane, southern Ethiopia. And it's a pleasure. I'm honored to be sitting here right now with the one and only Ras Kawintseb. So we're here to talk about his new album and life here in Shashamane. So, brother, welcome to the show. And yeah, man, Rastafari.
His Majesty, great name. Itinerally giving thanks to be part of that light or knowledge. Jamaica, welcome in Shashamane. Yeah, the gracious gift of the King of Kings to stimulate those who would to make their move to the higher lands and to Africa, to the heart, to Ethiopia. And connectivity, it's all connected with the victory of good over evil, and start that way. And that's the main cosmic of I and I being here in Ethiopia, and as conscious comers and ones willing to take up that aspect of what's going on in the world today. Tsion is to do with fulfillment, betterness, healing, victory through faith. So I'm referring to the title of the album's known by Touch of Tsion.
Yeah, man.
That's the overall theme or message. Yes.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So tell us about the idea and the vision behind Touch of Tsion.
It's to give a touch of Tsion. That's it. So through music and lyric and evoking of a little bit of that touch that's in everyone. That's the mission message of the album overall. And so in some parts it's a journey. In some ways, like I told them, it's a bit looking on the journey a little. In some ways it's a declaration. It's a revelation. The Lion of Judah prevailed. Weep not. Maybe it's a little prophetic. Reggae is prophetic. Showing you what's been going on, why it's going on, and what's coming. So Tsion's involved in that scenario, and the knowledge of the birthplace, the Jasagoro, knowledge of ones who, against all the odds, were waking up, great master of people like Marcus, the forerunner. The knowledge of why the term Exodus still has a meaning, trod on through Ethiopia. These are the themes, some of the themes I've taken up with my own touch musical to give some fruit to those who it will be taken up. It meaning to say the music is going to percolate right through, and music has its own way of passing itself through. So not everything can be explained in words in that way. But I'd like to encourage everyone to get au fait with this album. If you can't buy it, find a way to hear it. Always buy it. I hope I will get some good effects from it. But let's try to get it out there. Jamaica. It's significant that this part of the works in Shashamane, a lot of creative, artistic and foodical works going on. First you need the works, but then also you need the dissemination and the promotion of the works to the struggling humanity. His Majesty is the driver in my chariot. So that's a living reality. That's the powerhouse of our presence and the Ethiopian present. I would like to keep that as the dark side of the moon part of it. What's in the darkness must come out to light. So that's where we are. We're in the light, and it keeps shining that light. But that's the new harmony in reggae music, universally. Let's touch base with you. Other question?
Yes, sir. So I wanted to ask about one tune from the album in particular, Lions on Entoto. Tell us about the vision, I think is the appropriate word. Tell us about the vision behind that tune.
Lions on Entoto is account of a real incident that took place here in Addis Ababa, and it's describing in some of the ways that it was described to me by people in Addis on the streets, what some call a vision, yeah, in Toto, seen by many people who sleep out there for the sake of the healing, and the people who gather as homeless. But yeah, it's dealing with this vision that came down out of the sky, and described in the song on lions, fiery lions, and it was by many said that it was they saw Jan Hoy in a ball of fire, in a ethereal way, like it's something that came literally down out of the heavens, and so it made so many ripples in Addis, where I'm at the time, but yeah, I finally put it into music so it wouldn't be forgotten that Ethiopians also have their testimony in specific events sometimes, and some events in my time here living in Ethiopia, to show that there's some more light to be revealed through the presence of the King of Kings, Emperor Haile Selassie. Yeah. It was around the time of the coronation, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. Shashamane Rastaman still yanting, so it was about November 3rd or 4th of that year. This is about 7 years ago. So that's the motive of that tune there. That's the inspiration of it.
Yes, sir. Okay, yeah, man. And Hola Herb, yeah, man. Tell us about the Hola Herb.
The Hola Herb, which I've heard does grow on Toto, because we should mention Toto is a mountain that overlooks Addis Ababa. And there's some famous churches there, and it's outside of one of those churches that this vision occurred. That's where Lions of in Toto now. Yeah, so in Toto, the Keduskatal Hola Herb is, I think, one of the names here in America's Atsafaris. Is that right? I'm relating the good herb, the kaya, the ganja, to the herb referred to by Ezekiel when he tells us that there will be a plant of renown raised up for the people in this time. So the plant of renown, that's the Tergum I'm using the translation, for people to get back up on what is the place and their potential relation to the herb smoking, the determination of Rasta in general. That there's a purpose, there's something that there's also something. It's not just for nothing or for whimsical. It's a part of the process in maybe self-recreation. So it's not for recreation, but it's for recreating. Yeah. Speaking of the Kuduskital, the Hola Herb. So coming from that, that's my conviction on it, and the song is the next statement of that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. As well, we should mention at this point, you have another name locally, the Bado Egir, man. Tell us about the tune Bado Egir.
Yeah. The Bado Egir is a breakthrough for myself because it's personal. So in being a man that has followed the tradition of walking on the earth from before coming in Ethiopia, but at least full time from since I came to live here. So Bado Egir means barefoot in Amharic. You might say lion foot too. And so through that, that's a part of my personal, how I could say, my taking up of my own burden, as it were, my recreating. Yeah. So that's something in my spiritual tradition that I took off my shoe in going to the station, the plane station, the airport, in my journey to Ethiopia. So to get to, it took me 21 years, I suppose, put it that way, to feel mature enough to sing about being Bado Egir. Okay. Bado Egir is not about singing about being Bado Egir. It's about really being Bado Egir, whatever that can do or not do for a person, So now, it's like I'm just reflecting back because every day I'm in Ethiopia, I hear that. Oh, Bado Egir, oh, Bado Egir, oh, Bado Egir. So that was one of the first phrases I heard too, maybe. So it's just like one day, it takes time that I could now say, Bado Egir. enough people is saying it to me already. As not an original. Yeah, so give thanks. Yeah, it's the song because it's focusing on the Amharic chorus and so people like it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, man. Tell us briefly about your experience recording the album in Ethiopia as well. You mentioned you've been recording it for 7 years or working on it for 7 years. Yeah, man. Tell us about that experience.
That's an experience of just perseverance. Yeah, it has to get done. And from I started, I think the first song we recorded was with Peace and Camus at their studio in Addis, Shamura Studio, I think it's called, and that was Lions on in Total. Yeah, and I kept in the rhythm of, as I'm dwelling in Shashamane since in fact it's more than 7 years, probably 10.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've been just traveling up to Addis every weekend, every strong end, every Fridays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays. I'm there, and local studios. A couple is recorded in Shashamane with Brother Hartwell Spence at his Chaka studio. That's Jasagoro and Ethiopia, the Promised Land, that I mentioned to a bit of look also. But most of them recorded at probably 2 or 3 studios in Addis. I would make mention of Rofnan, I would make mention of Teddy Minyal and Remias Dan, that's Vision Studio. I'd make mention of Rasalula, the Badawi Girl itself, yeah. With Rofnan I did Marcus, the Foreigner, which I love that track, and Weep Not also. So to say that high level of care put into the recording, arranging, the mixing, and the performing. Many musicians involved, who I always heartily want to give thanks to. It's a combination then of a lot of people's inputs, assistants, sax man, harmony, singers, and I feel like it's a good reflection on the Ethiopian music scene, the musicians of the performers then, the players right now. It shows the standard and the flexibility, the creativity that's going on in Ethiopia.
Yeah, man.
So I'm grateful to that I could achieve that here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, just as I could have been anyway, but I chose for that to be. That's the point of the album, to say that, hey, so as a gardener in Rasta vegetation, and we're feeding the blossoms that are springing up all over the earth. So this is the main fertilizer, reggae music, and from the reality. Right? Reggae music is about real things, not about only. It's about things that's going on in our life and in the world, and why we're doing what we're doing. So it has to be real that we are doing those things to explain why you're doing those things. So, and I are doing these things, yes, enthusiasm in Ethiopia, chanting out, proclaiming ourselves as children of His Majesty and the Emperor and the whole story of it and beliefs of it and this and that, keeping it as one of the matters going on in Ethiopia today. Yeah, His Majesty. What about him? Yeah. So, yeah, this is the joy of this music. These matters.
Yeah, man.
They all touching things in our Ethiopian mentation right now. People is getting the message from some sources still, as Ethiopians, what information available, but the information is being told somewhat. Hey man, they've now come with the mark which everybody will have to take, which goes in your right hand and in your forehead, etc., etc. So you come into the scenario of Judgment Day. You see, what is that? That what's going on in the earth? Are we on the right track? Are we on the good track? As nations, or as individuals, or as groups, or as countries, or as, who's the king sitting on the throne of David? People have to ask themselves that. And that's a relevant question in Ethiopia, because that's one of the foundations and pillars of Ethiopian tradition through thousands of years. But the throne of David from that time is ordained to manifest as in Ethiopia. David get that promise. So if Rasta is the only force or movement on the earth saying that before Ethiopians couldn't ignore that. They have to be intrigued. They have some attitude, scornful, interested, zealous. There's going to be many reactions, but there's not going to be no reaction. Many reactions. That's a foundation, as I'm talking about it, Jamaica. Yeah. This is a this is the solid force of what I'm putting the album. If a major foundation, it's not on the media and this and that, but I'm living in Ethiopia, I see it's a major point that our church and our religion, Muhammad himself is an Ethiopian. So the force of the Ethiopian power to exist 3,000 years and many more thousands of years before that and after is that we have a knowledge which is coming to the common person. Everything the common person does, because his religion tells him to do, is got some balancing in world power. In other words, there's Batawi who's praying, and some people in the faith they're keeping the whole world alive through this judgment. Even it's like the mystics in India and so on. So Ethiopia has that side to it, and the album is saying that these things are more than real. They manifested in our modern history, what the whole earth has seen. And that's why the throne of David had to be glorified before the nations. They had to put His Majesty back after and say, yes, you're now the whole Africa have to be free. Now the whole black man have to be free. Now Africa. Now there's no more colonialism. Everything. They had to bow to him. We have to know that's history too. Yeah. You didn't see no homosexual and all this thing in His Majesty time booming up. It's only the judgment have to proceed after. Now the law and the glory and the greatness and the goodness and the simplicity and the lamb-like and the lion has been seen in the world affairs, how it affect them, who was coward, who couldn't keep treaty, who was backbiter, who was bully, who was, when they see that amongst all those bad examples, it's not me saying this, it's Arnold Toynbee saying this, which is a major English historian. That one role is played by His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie. He's talking about the Second World War. He combined his antique and his virtue and his enlightenment. This is what they said about the modern history. So we have the light of the world. If the light of the world can come into our real faith and we transform what we are taught, you're just taught this. This is to give you a paradigm. No, the human race have to make it in real affairs. In real affairs, in real affairs. In real affairs, okay. It's also, we taught it, that's what's going to happen. This is the Ethiopian foundation, that the prophecy is telling you these things anyway. You're not going against what God said. God doesn't tell you He's going to sit on the throne, they're going to block up the whole world, Ethiopia stand firm forever, and a few men say, give thanks to His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie. And then whatever goes on after that is more divine things, a whole new earth. But it has to come out, it doesn't come from a new idea. It's the first cradle of humanity, the inbut, the navel, stone, the source of the ancient, everything in the human history has come out of Ethiopia. I'm talking about that a rutical civilization that is called the black woolly-haired people before. That's what all the archaeology tell them. Everywhere in the world there's signs of that civilization, where there's pyramids in China, in Russia, in everywhere, South America, the same force and level of time, not only of geography and physical, but even a concept to do with time and space, is somehow in the earth among human people from that time until this time. So this time now is fulfillment, because it's not been totally wiped out even of the DNA of people to for some reason come and proclaim Ethiopia back. Ethiopia doesn't get any of that from the normal world media, but gets from people living on the earth who decide to, for some reason, take up those authorities. That's the Shashamane then comes as a great beacon. It's like a beacon to the earth. The world could never forget the light, what Ethiopia means to the whole of humanity. Whatever the dominating, television or media, whatever the people concept, stereotype of it is, still the real thing is coming out in your face too. In your face, not this hidden. So, yeah, it's a touch of Tsion.
Yes, I. Yeah, man. Rastafari. So, I have a quick question about this. Is related to what we were just saying. You have a tune. It's not on the album, but it's online. I think called The Word. So tell us about the Word, man, and the importance of, like we were just saying, the teachings of Haile Selassie.
Yeah, the Word. It is a speech, the taking up of a speech by the Emperor on the Bible, its importance, its part that it plays, its relevance, and again, the importance of it is His Majesty's Word. This is His Majesty's Word. I've somewhat, paraphrased maybe here and there, but this is not my lyric. It is a speech of the Emperor Haile Selassie I. Yeah. So, big part of what we need to know. How His Majesty see it. Yeah. The Bible. And as Ethiopians need to know that. Yeah. By reading the Bible for ourselves, we may find truth. It's His Majesty's Word. Why it's translated into Amharic. And so, like I say, in the modern world, and the things revealed, which prophetically, if one was already trained into that mood, he will see that that thing is not revealed what my prophecy, my background training, what I've been prepared for. And then you might try to get in the next mood of thinking to get out of that, cramp that you now find yourself in. So I'm speaking now particular, I could make a mention of this, a man sitting there. You're operating in England, Jamaica. The frontline places, like England, is for sure being conditioned, just like the ground places, like we're supposed to be in Ethiopia. Is being conditioned now to fulfill the revelation, and everybody has to take their mark. So everyone has to take soon, because you can't have bank account without it, etc. You gotta take your computer chip. That's the modern reality. That's like what the children growing up in school have to learn now. So we're in the time of the King of Kings. It's prophetic. In that time, read it for yourself, there's a whole drama going on where the power of the Almighty and the angels and Michael and everybody is aligned. And we know how it came and how it still made sense in the model world. On his garment is written his role, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And furthermore, we know him as the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. It's before the world. It is not a secret mystic order or something. It is before the world, the government and power and glory of the Ethiopian king, going all around the earth and trying to fix and only being revered. And a few Satan have to say, gah. But they can't touch his dignity, his beauty. Yeah. So that's the real world we're in now. That's what we've seen, these things. It's not written on somebody's version from 2,000 years ago. This is in the now. No matter how you talk it, you can't deny that they kick out the colonialists, or that Adwa happened, or that Mussolini got cut up and ripped to pieces by his people and hung, and those His Majesty wrote in his autobiography, everyone will get their just deserts. This is when he was back against the wall in England. Still, I know by the Almighty, power of the Almighty, everything will come together. The just. Ethiopia didn't do anything bad. He was just trying to develop and civilize and catch up and do this. And these people come to take my country and mash and exterminate. Everything will come. So that's what's going. It's good over evil. So His Majesty, fear not, weep not, weep not. We have to reject now, that's Ethiopian word for hero. Now it is time for, not only the Marvel comics to be the hero. Yeah. It's His Majesty time. See, that's the man with the cape. That's the superhero. Let's look in the real world. Yeah. So that's why I say, Ethiopian future growing in her children's dreams. Because this is the other side of the dream that has to be fueled. Us as Ethiopians growing up, youth, generation. That's the work of Rasta, to give this academic order to the story, to the people to see. It's not that something just made up. It's written by historians, as I mentioned. England. Arnold Toynbee, check him out. Yeah. You were writing on the Second World War. He said His Majesty is the great man of that war, clearly, and the only. The only genuine, yeah. So, yeah, it's so good, so good. That's the name. Yeah, Jamaica. You know, I remember listening to reggae programs when I was in England in the late 70s. Kind of the name slipped me, but at that time they were like, wow, bright spots on the radio.
Okay.
To get a couple reggae programs that were there now. So I'm sure that the I program, you know, Tsion is bringing things to people that they don't hear anywhere else at all. So that's a light and a strength to the eye. Yeah, keep up the good works. I know we couldn't talk everything, and there's editorship. You could set out something in that way, but I give the eye every oneness. You know, my being is with you, prayer is with you. Fulfill that part of your mission. Yeah, fulfill the eye own trod. You know, as a man that's seen Ethiopia in different parts, seen the warmth, seen the mountains, you've seen the springs, you know, you've seen the nature, you've seen the fruits. Yeah, it's what an education. Yeah, the key. Yeah. So this is Ras Kawintseb. I hope all of you will enjoy and listen to the album coming out of Shashamane, Ethiopia, called Touch of Tsion, and it's you know, it comes from my heart and from my effort, you know, my genuine effort to be the very brightest I could be, and we're gonna keep it that way. Yeah, coming out of Ethiopia in this time, 2018, 2009. There's a lot of works to be done. Thanks, Ras Mike.
Yes, sir. Ras Kawintseb, Haile, give thanks. Rastafari.
FM1 FM.
Ras Kawintseb from Shashamane in Shashamane, Ethiopia. Tsion Kefuta, man like Jamaica, Rastafari.
FM1 FM.